making your own event. That's next
Yeah.
level. How has
Yeah.
that gone? And what do you feel like is your influence now in the local community in that way?
Yeah, I mean, again, my thing and David, like, we want to be the light in the community that shows people like we're business owners and this is what you can do as a business owner.
Hey, how's it going? It's Tim Brown, and this is the Plumbing and HVAC Hustle Podcast. And today, I have the pleasure of having Stephanie Postel again from Anchor Heating and Air. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Good to see you again.
We are talking about extroverting yourself out into the community in every way possible. So essentially community marketing, but at a level where I think some people don't realize what it's going to take to make a successful business. And we don't just do the things, the easy things,
No,
sponsor something here or there. It's kind of, you got to go all in with this stuff.
absolutely.
Stephanie, what were some of the first steps in getting your company's name recognized locally when you started out?
Yeah. So David and I had a company prior to Anchor that started right in the beginning of COVID. And the only thing going on at that time was a concert series that everyone had to social distance from. And so we went out there and put our tent up and gave out swag. And so getting into that was the beginning, right? Because then people would come up to our tent, they would chat with us, and they got to know who David and I were as owners of a local heating and air company. And so that's something that has just really continued with us as we opened Anchor, that we decided that we don't just write a check for events. We have to go and participate in that event. And
Mm,
it has really been a game changer for us. We have paired it with radio because our radio partner is a local radio group, and so they're very ingrained in our community. And at the beginning, they would bring us different events around town and say, "Listen, do you want to sponsor this event?" And I always ask, "I will sponsor it if I can go." And so they will do some mentions on the radio, of course, but the real magic is when you get to that event, whose tent is popped up at that event. Well, Anchor Heating and Air. So again, you can hear our name on the radio, but then when you get there, we're there with either, we might have drinks and snacks, or we might have really cool swag. We always have a bunch of that. People know us for our dog food scoops and our hand sanitizer and all that kind of fun stuff. But the real big part about community marketing is that you've got to be in the community. You can't just attach your name to it. You've got to be there. You got to be shaking hands and kissing babies, is what we say, and
yes.
that honestly goes a long way. And now we're into doing events for the second and third year, and so people are still seeing us again, remember us from that. Maybe they didn't sign up the first year, but then now they have. And so then again, how many times do people have to see you before they realize that, oh, now they need you? But being at some of those really great events has helped us a ton.
I say follow money with effort. And you
Absolutely.
see when somebody wants to try to sponsor something but not show up,
Yeah.
it's not the same. It's really your presence, your personal brands are involved, but then there's emotional connection that happens with that logo and those colors, and it's these humans,
Yes.
and then the money goes way farther.
Absolutely, because the whole thing is we're local. We have a hashtag in Charleston. It's hashtag still local. And we play very high on that because when we get out at events, you're seeing the owners. You're seeing the employees, the people who work there. They might show up in your home, right? So there's this connection and trust that we're already building. We might be standing around drinking a beer together, but nothing wrong with that. We're real people. And when you
Mm,
have an issue, then you know exactly who you're going to call. And in the trades, people just love to talk about the problem they had or the one they had 10 years ago or the one they still have now. And so when they're able to really make a connection with the people that might come fix it, it goes so much further. You want to be mindful of your time because we don't have a lot of it. And so we want to be at the right events, larger events, events that are very ingrained in our community. But we've picked really well. We will go anywhere from Blessing of the Fleet, which is coming up for us. It's a shrimp festival. The blesses the shrimp fleet at the waterfront, and it's a day-long event. It's so much fun. To around the holidays, we do a really awesome event called Wine Under the Oaks, and it's a awesome event where people just go around and try wine all day. And a lot of people thought at the beginning, why is a heating and air company at this wine event? I'm like, well, why wouldn't I be? I mean, people who drink wine have heating and air conditioning, right? So I'm hanging out here with people drinking their wine, and they get to see our brand. And I brought the photo booth, and they took a picture at our booth and had a memory of us. And so when they need us, then they call us.
And I'm trying to share a little bit of my experience too, even though I'm trying to be sticky with like a group of people like home service businesses, but it relates a lot to what people in communities are doing. Like I think about like when I was first starting to go a lot of events, I would just go to all of them that had a lot of people. And then I realized who are my real customers. And I think about this idea of the wine drinkers might have a little bit higher end homes. Realistically, I'm just being real. Like when we see who our ideal customers are and start to like really go in on that, not be at every single event, like understand who our people are and try to get more selective, but go harder on those events.
Absolutely. There's no question. And listen, that comes with trial and error, right? So you might go to a few more events that weren't the best until you figure out the ones that are great for you, and we've certainly done that. But yes, as time goes by, at the beginning, I think when you're smaller or newer, you're kind of throwing your net out there to see what works. And we absolutely still do, soccer teams and baseball teams. Like I said, we like to still go to those, at least one of their games a year, so that the parents see us and we're a real sponsor, not just on their t-shirts. We sponsor teacher lunches or teacher birthdays, and send the cake to the elementary school. Stuff that doesn't cost a lot of money, but a lot of times when I did the cake, I went and I dropped off the cake, or I stood in the teacher's lounge while it was lunchtime and they were coming in to eat the cake, right? I mean, in a school where you might have 75 teachers, that's 75 people that are seeing this person cares about me, so their company must care about our community, so when I need them, I'll call them. So it is absolutely, it can be not a whole lot of cost, but it is cost in time. But the rewards that you get out of those connections are way better than any check that you could write.
Oh, this is exactly what I want to talk about. I think the creativity touches people in a different way, and the thoughtfulness touches people in a different way. So it's like, what could I do that's not in the handbook,
That's right. Yep.
What could I do that's not on the podcast? What can I do that's not that everybody hasn't already tapped into yet? And really think about it, and like to get the biggest bang possible for the money I'm spending, because I am spending money and it is my time, and my time is valuable, like you said.
Right.
But it's usually not stuff that's like tried and proven. I mean, I don't know where did you get that cake idea? That's great.
Hey there, are you a home service business owner that's tired of your answering service just kicking the can down the road? Well, we can help. Pink Collars will assign a dedicated, supported, and trained individual to answer your phones, emails, texts, and even more. Give us a call at 888-325-7465, or better yet, check us out online, www.pinkcolors.com.
Well, I was a teacher, so I know what I liked that people did. And I tell people that a lot of times, right? Like you need to think about what would be important to you. I talk to newer contractors all the time because they see our marketing and they're like, oh, I want to do what you're doing. And so I love that. I want you to do that too. I've had people say, well, we're delivering pizzas for the firefighters on Friday. And I'm like, well, that sounds really good. Do you just love the firefighters? and we all do, right? Don't get me wrong. We all love first responders, but like pick what is your thing that you love, because what I'm going to see is that, oh, they're just flicking pizzas everywhere. They don't really care. They're doing that for show. And I think after a while people
Mm,
see that you're not sincere. So I love teachers because
yeah.
I was a teacher. So that's where we started, right? I mean, we love. I'm doing the Make a Wish Society right now, and I love that charity, and so I'm excited, and I've gotten David excited and our company excited about granting wishes for Make a Wish. But if you're doing it just because you want
Hmm.
marketing out of it, it will be you can see through that, right? And that's not who we want to be. So I would say go through and just think about who you are as a person and what do you love. You might love dogs. You might love horse rescue. You might like, you might like firefighters or police officers or whatever it is. But choose that and go all in on things related to that. Because the other thing that I think you get out of that is that your people then can latch on to that mission as well, because they don't have to be here, there, and yonder.
Mm.
They're like, oh gosh, this is something that we all love. We all like to give back to this. And I think that helps with culture and stuff too. So it's not only you're getting new customers, you're building culture within your company, and you're really honing in on that mission and why it's important to do heating and air because we like to serve our community.
Stephanie, what role does your personal presence as an owner or leader play in making your brand feel approachable in your town?
Hmm. I think that one, because David and I talk a lot about being native Charlestonians, so we've grown up here. And that's in a town or in a city like Charleston is not as common as it used to be. So I think that because we have inserted that in our branding, we are put ourselves and our team in our pictures on our website, all of that kind of stuff. So I
Mm.
think it gives people confidence, obviously, that they can get to us if they need to. So that's a big thing for sure. We've also leveraged other media and things that we've been in, whether it's print or anything else, to write stories about our company, about our service to
Mm.
the community, how we're giving back. I mean, every article that a magazine might write is not about how to do the best maintenance. It's sometimes they're about our culture and our people. And a lot of times, just one was written recently about how we love to give back to the community. And so I think that speaks to who David and I are, and leading a company that truly we love doing heating and air. But the most important thing is we want to do a lot of heating and air so we can give a lot back to our community.
Yeah.
And again, I think it goes into creating culture, and that our employees love working here because they get to do a job that they love, but they also get to be connected to different charities, different efforts, different missions, that make them feel good, and a lot of times are things that they've chosen for us to be a part of.
The cake thing is mind-boggling a little bit to me. Like, how do you balance community involvement with the demands of running a busy and growing HVAC company?
Well, I think we've made it a priority. So we have great processes and great people in place that this runs pretty smooth around here to give me a little bit of that freedom to get out and do those things in the community.
Mm.
But I guess I would also question, if we're not doing those things in the community, there's nothing else to do anyway, right? I mean,
Mm.
I don't think it's chicken or the egg. I mean, we have to do marketing in order to put ourselves out there so that people know who we are and what we do. So those things have to be a priority, and we get out there once a week. We're somewhere, and then coming up in the summer, we're going to be somewhere 2 or 3 times a week. And, it has to fit into your lifestyle, and you have to engage your people to be involved too. David and I have grown children and they all work here. So we're a little freer, right? To be able to get out and do those kinds of events. I consult a lot with smaller companies and their kids are young, and it's hard for them to do that. But that's where I would say, okay, if that's the case and your kids are on a soccer team, well, you sure as heck better be sponsoring the soccer team, and you better be waving the anchor heating and air flag every time you're out there, because that's easy, right? I mean, there's no reason why my kid wouldn't be playing on my soccer team if I had young kids and a company to grow. And in fact, that's how it was when it wasn't my company. It was the company I worked for. We were sponsoring that soccer team or that baseball team. So I think that's hugely important. To make sure that it aligns with who you are and what you're doing.
Let's just do some rapid fire because we're talking about extroverting yourself out into the community in every way possible. Let's just go down the list of all the things. I mean, teams, you sponsor teams, you go to the game.
Yes.
Concerts, you've created relationships with them, you do booths, you do radio advertising around that.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
You're getting your team involved or are you getting your team involved to try to create personal brands or an involvement with community organizations?
Oh, absolutely. Because we are, we've been out to the veterans. There's a veterans area. And so we went out and we gave lunch, and my guys were out there helping pass out lunch. We raised money for a local charity here called Katie's Crops, and one of my guys got an email about the fundraising, and he came to me and he said, I want to lead up this fundraiser. I'm going to organize it. We're going to raise money for Katie's Crops. And I was like, okay. Right. So, I mean, we've done a lot of stuff where we've been the example of giving back to the community, but then now my people are coming in and saying, hey, I want to be in charge of this, philanthropy event. So we went out and we did that. We delivered the food. We were at one of the dinners that they had. So definitely my team is involved in those kinds of things. We gave away $1,000 for 12 days of Christmas, and all of my team we had some that suggested who we should give the money to. And then we took some suggestions from customers. So the thing is, it can't be all about what I want. It was at the beginning because David and I wanted to establish that example, and that's who we were going to be and who we are. But now, the true testament of it is that they've kind of taken that over. And so they're looking for ways for us to get involved in the community, things that we can do where, our brand is being shown off. And I think the other thing I think it's important to bring up is that we feel like sometimes that it is marketing and it's a lot of self-promotion, which it certainly should be. But the whole point is we're setting an example for everybody else. So, when the hurricane happened, we were a place where people could just drop off their donations. That's a big thing, right? People are looking for ways to get involved. They're looking for ways to give back. And we just happen in that way to be the vessel that they got to do that. So definitely our team is really taking that over for sure.
Still a lot of money chasing these transactions. There's still really good outcomes out there for sellers. It's good to have someone like us in your corner because we're not emotional, but guess what? When you're selling your business, it becomes emotional, and so it's really good to have an intermediary, there every step of the way. www.sfpadvisors.com. All the contact information is directly on the website.
And something I've kind of reflected on as I'm thinking about this dynamic between being charitable and marketing, which it is for marketing sometimes, but it allows, from my point of view, that allows you to go harder. If it can be good for your marketing, then you get to be more charitable. And
Right.
I think that there's nothing wrong with that. It allows us to tap a little bit into the marketing budget while still pushing things to the community. So And I mean, like, what's better, to give some toys to Toys for Tots for Christmas, or to spend the money on Google ads? Like, what's, you know what I mean? Like, what's a better expense as far as marketing goes? So it's a weird thing to talk about, because I do think it has a little bit of tension where people want to be doing something. It's weird to mix the altruism, the inclination for altruism, with marketing. And I understand that, but I almost want to resolve that. I want to try to help resolve that for people so they feel emboldened, because
Yeah.
certainly it's a good experience. It feels good. It feels great for your team, and it can be good for your business and not entirely selfish.
Yeah, well, I mean, it is who we are. So I don't struggle with it at all. There's no tension
Yeah.
in me or in my team, right? I mean,
Mm.
we're not throwing $100 bills to everybody in town, right? We're
Mm-hmm.
doing what matters. We're doing great work for our customers. We're doing great work for the people in our community. We're providing high quality service. We bring solutions. We're in it for the long game. And
Mm.
so being in it for the long game makes it way different, right? Because I think if you are in it for the short game, and there is nothing wrong with that, you may be building to sell quickly, and this may not work for you, right? Because to me, I couldn't do that. Because if I'm telling you I'm here to give back to the community and all of that, and I turn around and sell next year, then I was doing it for marketing, right?
Mm.
And so that's where I can't make it work.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm in this for the long game. And so for me, like, this truly is, and for us, like, it has brought um, great things back to our company, because the people that work here are these good people. And so they've been rewarded by more people calling us to do business with us, because they get in the community and they do great work and they get a 5-star review, and then people want that. And so then they buy more heating and air conditioning from us. So then they get paid well, we can support the community, and the cycle continues.
Mm.
So for me, like, it is part of who we are as
Yeah.
our company.
I just want to kind of touch on the women's conference that you've got going on. I think, I think it's really great to anchor this in
See what you did there.
the the authentic giving with things you actually deeply care about, because then it all makes total sense and stays integrated with you. So don't just go layer all this on just to, like, create a look. Push into things you actually care about. So you guys have done this women's conference now, making your own event. That's next
Yeah.
level. How has
Yeah.
that gone? And what do you feel like is your influence now in the local community in that way?
Yeah, I mean, again, my thing, and David, like, we want to be the light in the community that shows people, like, we're business owners and this is what you can do as a business owner. So, we've talked several times. I've been blessed in this industry to be able to go and talk on stages across this country, as a woman in the trades, as a business owner, and I've given back in that way. And I just kind of looked and said, if I can do this for people across the country and women across the country in our industry, why can't I also do this right here in Charleston? There are women who are running businesses who need to know how to run a profitable business, how to have great operations, how to hire great employees. And so She Means Business is my women's conference, and
Cool.
it was born from that. So we actually just had our second annual women's conference. It was last week, and it really has given me the opportunity to curate panels each year of women locally who are doing amazing things, but maybe haven't been recognized the way that I could recognize them. And so the last 2 years, I put together a whole day conference. Of course, Anchor sponsored that, but we also brought in other sponsors from the community, and put women on stages and celebrated. And it's our conference, as you may have figured, is not a whole lot of touchy-feely. It's like, are you here to learn how to run a profitable business? Don't talk to me about, yoga and us like, hanging out together. I'm talking about, can you run a business and are you making money? And so it's really been amazing. I've been very blessed, and women have made great relationships. I've seen women grow over a year that participated last year, and women that came back and spoke at the conference this year, or came back this year as a sponsor of the conference. And so, that there's nothing more that I could get out of that than seeing that goal for me to grow them, and that coming true.
Well, you're a great example. One, to just the way you've extroverted yourself out in the community, every way possible, in little ways, in big ways. And, you're also involved in the heating and cooling community. And you go to events so I don't know how you find the time, first of all.
We
But
pick carefully.
yeah. What's that?
I said we pick carefully, that's for
Okay,
sure.
there you go. And the idea of just connecting with causes and things you really, really care about. I think that's what I'm gathering is the difference.
It
The
is
difference.
because
Say it
when
perfect.
you do that, it cuts out all this other noise of
Mm,
what's not important and what you don't anymore have to spend a whole lot of time on,
yeah.
because it's authentic. It is what we love. I mean, if you know David and I, we love heating and air. We love Charleston. We love bourbon. We love riding in the mud. We love our little dogs, and we love our company.
Mm,
So, and that's it. And a lot of times, that almost translates into our core values. And if it doesn't line up with one of those things, then the answer is no. And so when you have that alignment, it really makes it a whole lot easier to know where you're going to spend your money. And also for people, again, just to see the sincerity and authenticity in that. And I think people are dying for that, right? They want to
mm.
know that that's the kind of company that they're doing business with. I've said many times I'm very blessed. I've had people in the community say to me, how do you and David always find the best people? Well, you know what? We try to be the best people, and then we can attract the best people. And I would hands down say, I have the best team anywhere around. But it's for all those factors. It's because we're doing heating and air as a vehicle to be able to give back to our community.
Well, let's just land on that. That's a beautiful thought. And I hope that I can achieve a certain level of that in our company as we serve our, a broader purpose here. And you know,
Absolutely.
it's a beautiful thing. And it's just like in a business, I chose something I really like doing,
Yeah.
and it allowed me to expend extra energy when most people weren't working because I actually like it. And I think the same goes. It sounds like if you choose things that are actually fun and motivating for you, you're going to go much further with your support of the community and the fun and the ability to probably put in extra hours sometimes.
100%. I mean, I'll
Yeah.
go stand out by the table before a concert and then go to the
Mm.
concert, I mean,
Yeah.
it's those little things that go a long way, but I'm making myself available to the people that I can serve. And I think that's so important. You know what I would say for you, Tim? I love that. I love that, I might have made you think a little bit more about it and how you can do that in your company. And that's what our industry is supposed to be about, right? I mean, obviously, we want to be doing great heating and air, but we have a real opportunity to be the light for a lot of people. And we go into a lot of people's homes. We take care of a lot of people. We've worked very hard over the years to bring the trades up to the level of respect that they deserve. And so when we're doing that, I mean, again, we're the example. So do business with one of those companies that's being that shining example.
Well, Stephanie, thank you for being on. I really appreciate your time. And where can people check you out?
Well, I love it when they follow us on TikTok at Anchor Heating and Air SC. And then, of course, we're on Facebook and all that kind of stuff. So, but always reach out to me, spastel at anchorheatingandair.com. I love chatting with anybody about marketing, or if I could help in any way. That's really what fuels me. So, and let's get ready for this big summer we're about to have.
Yeah. Podcast is put on by hookagency.com, Hook Agency all over social media, and I appreciate you watching and listening.